Everyone thinks going wireless with Android Auto means lag, random disconnects, and wasted minutes waiting for your dash to catch up. But here's the thing, the smoothest Android Auto session I've had this year didn't come from a fancy factory system. It came from a tiny Drimfly dongle I almost ignored. Context: I've been burned by wireless adapters before, so I ran this one hard for 2 weeks across daily commutes, errands, and a weekend road trip. Scroll stop moment, I timed everything. Boot, reconnect, voice, video, calls, contrarian snapback. The cable loyalists are missing the point. When wireless is truly seamless, it's not a luxury, it's invisible. And that invisibility is exactly what surprised me here. Before we dive into what I discovered, quick heads up, if you're already nodding along and want the current best price, I've got the link below. But stick around, because reason number 2 is something no spec sheet will tell you, and it changed my verdict. Look, here's the deal. I wanted this to replace the ritual of fishing for a cable with one hand and juggling coffee with the other. My weekday commute is a war zone of speed bumps, phone cases that don't quite fit the plug, and a frayed cable that would randomly cut audio mid-podcast. I tried 2 other wireless adapters earlier this year. One took 40 seconds to connect on a good day, the other glitched every time I used the steering wheel voice button. Hope, low, skepticism, high. But Drimfly promised 5 GHz low latency, plug-and-play, and stable auto-reconnect. I tested it in a 2019 Honda Civic and a 2021 Toyota RAV4 with a Pixel 7 and a Galaxy S22 because that's where previous adapters stumbled for me. Stakes were simple: if it wasted even 15 seconds of my life every morning, it was going back. Testing, Scene 1, set up and auto-connect. Plugged the Drimfly into the USB data port, phone saw it in Bluetooth, paired once, and it handed off to Wi-Fi automatically. First time pairing took under a minute. After that, the real test, daily cold starts. Average auto-connect landed between 8 and 12 seconds from ignition to maps on screen. Fast enough that by the time I buckled up, Google Maps was already asking for a destination. I filmed a timer side by side with a wired start, and the gap was negligible. But then I tried hot restarts after quick gas stops at 3 to 5 seconds consistently. Visual hook: I'll put the boot timer on screen so you can see it in real time. Testing, Scene 2, calls and voice. Highway speed, windows up, 1 AirPod in, and the steering wheel assistant button long press. Assistant pickup was instant. No weird double mic echo, no stutters. I forced 4 back-to-back calls and a Bluetooth to Android Auto handoff. The audio route stayed clean. But then I tried the classic pain point: hey Google, set a reminder while Spotify plays. Voice recognition nailed it, and the music dipped and returned without a volume spike. There was a tiny pop when the car woke from sleep exactly once, not a deal breaker, worth noting. Testing, Scene 3, navigation chaos. Downtown with dense Wi-Fi, tunnels, fast reroutes, maps stayed smooth. Pinch to zoom latency felt like wired, my estimate under 150 milliseconds. No gray blocks or missing tiles beyond what my cell signal could deliver. Even when I threw in Waze alerts and a WhatsApp call at the same time, the Drimfly link kept up. But then I parked in an underground garage and came back 20 minutes later. Reconnect was normal. No, it didn't forget the handshake. That was a first for me with adapters in this class. Testing, Scene 4, streaming and heat. Spotify at 320 kbps, tracks skipping, scrubbing, and switching to YouTube music. Skips took about 0.2 of a second to register on average, and scrubbing didn't desync. I left the car in 95-degree sun. After a 90-minute drive, the unit was warm but not hot to the touch. No thermal throttling symptoms. I also tested wireless charging interference by putting the phone on a cheap pad. Because Drimfly rides 5 GHz for data, it dodged the 2.4 GHz noise and the link stayed solid. Weak spots: if your car only supports Apple CarPlay and never had wired Android Auto, this won't magically add it. If your USB port is power only, same story. In one instance out of 14 starts, my Civic splash screen hesitated. Unplugging and replugging the dongle fixed it, and a quick over-the-air firmware update later, I couldn't reproduce it. Also, if you're that person who manually toggles Wi-Fi off on your phone, you'll confuse any wireless adapter. Leave Wi-Fi on, Bluetooth on. The dongle uses Bluetooth just to trigger the Wi-Fi handoff. Here's where it gets interesting. The biggest surprise wasn't that it worked, it was that it felt faster than a factory wireless system I used in a newer SUV. Over 2 weeks, I logged just over 20 hours across 2 vehicles and 5 Android phones, including a Pixel 8 and a OnePlus 10 Pro. The Drimfly consistently beat my Motorola MA1 in connect time by a few seconds and matched AA Wireless on stability with fewer voice hiccups. The secret sauce seems simple. A clean 5 GHz link and a lean handshake. There's also a simple browser interface for updates and settings. I toggled an option to optimize DPI scaling and left everything else stock. No deep tinkering required. And yes, steering wheel voice, Google Assistant, and nav prompts all behaved like wired. Too good to be true? Not quite. There are always compatibility landmines. Some Mazda and Volvo head units are picky about USB data lines, so use the included short cable or a quality data cable, not that mystery one in your glove box. If your infotainment reassigns mic inputs strangely, a firmware update usually resolves it. Drimfly pushes updates periodically, which is the lifeline cheaper clones never provide. Bottom line. It doesn't add Android Auto where it never existed, but where wired Android Auto is present, it makes it wireless without drama. Now that you know it connects faster than most and stays rock solid under real-world stress, the next step is simple. Grab it while it's in stock and before the next firmware drop bumps demand. Links in the description for the best current price, and I'll pin the exact settings I used for a zero-hassle setup. Verdict time. If you commute daily, use nav and podcasts, or drive rideshare and swap phones, the Drimfly Wireless Android Auto is an easy yes. If your car already has factory wireless Android Auto, you don't need this. If you live in a CarPlay-only world, this isn't for you. For everyone else with wired Android Auto built in, this adapter turns the most annoying part of your drive into something you never think about. The best cable is the one you never reach for, and for me, that's reason number 1, 2, and 3.